Hello class, welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be working on Chapter 10, Section 3. Let's start on page 489. Make picture graphs. How do you make a picture graph to show data in a tally chart? So this question is saying, how do you make a picture graph? So think back to the last lesson. A picture graph is a graph using pictures instead of lines to represent an amount, usually data from a survey. So those are your vocabulary words. So how do we make a picture graph to show data in a tally chart? So a tally chart is a different kind of survey. That's the one that uses the lines. So how can we make a picture graph to show data in a tally chart? So that's what we're going to be working on throughout this lesson. So for this first example, as a class, we would take turns choosing a cube from a bag, but for this example, I'm going to do it for us. So I'll be pulling the cubes out of the bag for us. So we're going to draw a smiley face in the graph, so inside the graph here that's given for us, for each cube. So every time I call out one of the cube colors, you're going to draw a smiley face for each color. So let's go ahead and begin pulling out some cubes and drawing smiley faces. So for the first cube, I pulled out a green. So let's draw a smiley face inside the graph right next to green. Okay, so I pulled another one and I got orange. So draw a smiley face for orange. And I pulled another green. So this time I got red. So just draw the smiley faces along with me for every cube that I pull. So I just pulled an orange. Another green. A blue. So we're drawing happy faces for each category. Since I just pulled a blue one, we are drawing a smiley face in the box next to blue. So I just got another blue. So I'm going to put another smiley face next to blue. And now I just got another green. Okay, I got another red. Another red. And an orange. Alright, so we went ahead and drew 16 cubes from a bag, and these are the colors that I pulled out. So what is this information telling us? Well, we're using pictures for the picture graph to show an amount, which we can use as tallies. So if we were to change this into tallies to show data in a tally chart, how can we do this with tallies? Well, there's two pictures next to blue, which could be the same as using two tallies. Next to red, we have three pictures of the smiley faces, which could be the same as three tally marks. For green, we have four smiley faces in the green category, so we can do four tally marks. And for orange, we have three smiley faces, so we can do three tally marks. And that is also the same as 2 for blue, 3 for red, 4 for green, and 3 for orange. So these are three different ways of saying the same thing. Two pictures, two tallies, the number 2, and so forth for each example. Students, we are now on page 490. Model and draw. Each picture in the graph stands for one flower. Draw pictures to show the data in the tally chart. So here in this example, we have a tally chart on the left, and we have a picture graph on the right. The key is telling us that each circle is going to stand for one flower. This means that every time you see one of these blue circles, that is the exact same thing as one flower. Circle and flower, the same thing. Now, for the tally chart, we see that Jessie has 3 tallies. That means that she has picked 3 numbers of flowers. So if we look at the picture chart, we can see that it's the same information. Jessie has 3 circles, which means that Jessie picked 3 flowers. So it's the same information on both charts. However, it's not complete for us. It's not finished. How many circles do we need to draw for Inez? How many flowers did Inez pick? Well, where can we find that information? We can look here at the tally chart to see that Inez has 5 flowers picked. So all we have to do is draw 5 circles in the picture graph to show that this person has picked 5 flowers. So now they're equal. For Paulo, we can see that Paulo picked 4 flowers because there are 4 tally marks. That means that we need to draw 4 circles to equal the same thing as the tally one. So 4 circles is 4 flowers. So Paulo picked 4 flowers, the same as in the tally chart. Okay, so let's look at another example. Use the tally chart to complete the picture graph. So we're going to do the same thing we just did in the last example. But this time we're going to draw a smiley face for each child. So instead of doing circles for each flower, we are going to do smiley face for each child. And that's what the key says. The key is telling us that each smiley face stands for one child. So every time we need to look at the key to remember, it's going to be right there at the bottom of the picture graph. So let's complete the picture graph then using the tally chart. So go ahead and try this on your own if you feel like you understand what we're doing. If not, let's work on it together. So for cheese, here's the information. We have 5 tally marks for cheese, right? We have 4 tallies with a seat belt, making it 5. So we need to draw 5 happy faces. So we need to draw 5 happy faces for each cheese. So each child that likes cheese. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Okay, so I'm going to draw circles because it's just going to be a little easier for me. So for me, instead of happy face, it's going to be circle. But for you, you're going to draw happy face. So for Ham, we have 2 tally marks, which means that we need to draw 2 happy faces to equal the same thing. For Tuna, we have 4 tally marks, which means we need to draw 4 pictures of happy faces. That means that 4 children like tuna the best. That's their favorite sandwich. For Turkey, we have 3 tally marks, which means 3 pictures of smiley faces for Turkey. And if it helps you out, you can also write to help you immediately see how many there are for each category. So let's answer number 2 then. It should be very easy now. How many children chose tuna? So now you can look at either chart, whichever one you want to look at. So if you choose the tally chart, you can see that 4 tallies means that 4 children ate tuna. If you look at the picture graph, you can see that 4 smiley faces ate tuna, and each smiley face means 1 child. So 4 child like tuna the best. So let's go ahead and write down the number 4 because that's the answer. For the next one, it's asking us for number 3, how many more children chose cheese than ham? Okay, so now we have to do a little bit of subtraction. So how many more children chose cheese than ham? So let's start with the bigger number, which is cheese, 5. So let's do 5 minus the ham, which is, how much do we have for ham? 2. So if we do 5 minus 2, and we can use our fingers to help us, take 5 fingers, subtract 2 fingers, we are left with 3. So 3 more children chose cheese than ham. Class, we are now on page 491. On your own this time. For numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, go ahead and work on those on your own. For number 4, you will be using the tally chart to complete the picture graph. Just like the examples before, you're going to be drawing a smiley face. And you're going to use those graphs to answer all the questions. So finish the graphs first and then answer the questions. Pause the video now. Alright class, let's go over the answers. So you should have started by completing the picture graph. And you should have drawn smiley faces, but I'm going to do circles instead because it's easier for me on the computer. So on your paper, they're going to be happy faces. On my paper, they're going to be circles. So you should have drawn 4 smiley faces for apple. For plum, you should have drawn 2. Banana would have 5. And orange will have 3 smiley faces. Now the answers are, for number 5, how many children chose banana? 5 children chose banana. And how many fewer children chose plum than banana? So this is the subtraction problem. The answer is 3. What you would have done is chose banana because it's the bigger number, which is 5. And you would have subtracted the plum, which is 2. And if you do the math problem with your fingers, you could do it. You will get 3 fingers remaining, which would equal 3 fewer children. Number 7, how many children chose a fruit that was not a plum? Ooh, okay. For this one, the answer is going to be 12. So you're going to be adding all of the fruits together that are not the plum. So apple plus banana plus orange. That will be 5 plus 4 plus 3, and that gives us 12. So number 8, which 3 fruits were chosen by a total of 10 children? So for this one, they're asking to pick 3 of these fruits that equal 10. So 10 total children. Which of the 3 added together equals 10? Now we know that it can't be apple, banana, and orange because apple, banana, and orange is 12. So what other combination can we do to make 10? And the answer is plum, banana, and the orange. Okay class, we are now on page 492, the mid-chapter checkpoint. So let's do this first example together. If you guys feel like you can do it on your own, go ahead and try it on your own. And if anytime you need help on it, just come back and I will do it with the class. So for this first one, we are going to use the picture graph to answer the questions. So here is the picture graph. And they already completed the graph for us. You can see that each smiley face stands for 1 child. So now we can answer questions 1 through 3 using the information that they give us. So which season, we can look at the categories in the survey. So here's the survey, favorite seasons. And they ask, basically what they did is a teacher asked children what they think their favorite season is. It could be spring, summer, fall, or winter. And then each student has an answer. Each student made a choice, right? And the teacher drew a smiley face for each student when they made their choice. So which season did the fewest amount of children choose? So based on this information, we can conclude that fall is the season that the fewest children chose because there's only 4 children that picked fall. The rest of them picked more. So we can put fall for number 1. For number 2, how many more children chose spring than fall? So for this one, we're going to have to do a subtraction problem. So we need to subtract spring and fall. So we can see that there are more children in spring than fall. More children that chose spring than chose fall. So let's do spring first. We can do spring, which is 6 children, 6. And then we'll subtract fall, which is 4. and we are left with the number 2. So how many more children chose spring than fall? 2 more children. Number 3, how many children chose a season that was not winter? So this question is telling us how many, if we add them together, how many children chose a season that is not winter, so anything but winter. That means we need to add spring, summer, and fall together. And when we add them together, which is going to be 6 plus 8 plus 4, we get 18 children. Number 4, how many children chose a favorite season? So they tried to trick you with this question, but if you read it carefully, you'll get it. How many children chose a favorite season? So would you say that all of the children in the survey picked a favorite season? I would say so, because there's no category in the survey for no season. So that means that we are going to have to add all of the students together. So if we add all of the children together, how many do we have altogether? We are left with 25 total children that took the survey. So that means 25 children have picked a favorite season. So let's go ahead and draw the tally marks to show the number of children. So we need to draw 25 tally marks. So let's start by drawing the 4 lines with a seatbelt to give us 5. Okay, so we have 5 so far. Let's add another 5. So that's 4 lines with a seatbelt. Now we have 10. Let's do another 5. 4 lines with a seatbelt. And we have 15, so let's keep going. So another 5. Now we have a total of 20. Let's add one more 4 lines with a seatbelt. Now we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 tally marks. Okay, class, that concludes today's lesson. Well done, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.